Right now on the News at 5, an amazing experience in the sky, best seen right here in the Midlands. The total solar eclipse brought thousands upon thousands of people right here to Columbia.
And we have live team coverage with our reporters spread out across the Midlands for the Great American Solar Eclipse. We're going to tell you much more. Your News at 5 starts right now.
Live, local, now. This is WIS News 10.
The 2017 total solar eclipse, an amazing experience to say the least.
Yeah, and you were outside for it. It was incredible to watch here as well. You saw that totality stage right here on WIS News 10. It was certainly one for the books, and we have had our crews all around the Midlands today watching the eclipse. And one place, Greg, you were there, of course, the South Carolina State Museum, and that is where we find our Judy Gatson. Judy, it was a sight to see. I know your kids were out there, and so many people gathered to see that amazing, amazing phenomenon.
Oh, Sam, you are absolutely right. The South Carolina State Museum was one of the most perfect spots to view this incredible event. Now, I know some people in different areas around the Midlands really did not have a great view, but don't worry, we have got you covered. We want to show you what it looked like as this magnificent moment unfolded in the sky. You know, Columbia actually is home of the longest eclipse in a metro area along the East Coast. And I tell you, right from the very beginning, as researchers started plotting this thing out, astronomy experts said that Columbia, our capital city, would be one of the best places to view the total solar eclipse. Of course, it was the first transcontinental eclipse in 99 years, so it'll be a long time before we will see something like this again. General Charles Duke was here, native South Carolina astronaut, the pilot of Apollo 16. So many incredible experts from NASA to talk about what they have learned and the data they will collect from this incredible solar event. So we have much more of our live coverage coming up. We've got this thing covered from all angles, all of the best views all around the Midlands. So Sam and Greg, we've got much more coming up from the South Carolina State Museum throughout the night.
All right, Judy, thanks so much. It was great enjoying that with you. Meanwhile, look at this. Massive amounts of people filling Riverbanks Zoo today for the total solar eclipse. Plenty of activities for families leading up to that big moment. And our Mary King and Joe Pinner live now from the zoo. And guys, a major crowd out there today.
Yeah, Greg, there were nearly 9,000 people out here to witness the total solar eclipse. Can you still believe it?
I know, and 8,000 are on the road right now, I think.
Yeah, I think they're all headed back. But the guys behind us, the flamingos, one of the stars of the show, they studied 12 different animals today, and we'll kind of step out here. They are doing their thing like they normally do in the daylight, Joe, but you saw a much different thing when total...
They ran together and looked like a team in a huddle for a rugby match. And, they are born white, by the way, and it's the crustaceans that they eat that are red that get in the bloodstream of the mother, and she transfers it to the babies, and therefore...
And that's why you get the pink. But what was so neat is, like you said, they huddled up and then they hunkered down. They thought it was nighttime, it seems, and that's something they will...
Do we see the one way in the back there?
Yeah, he's asleep in the back there.
Yeah, there you are.
Very back awake, yeah. Well, what we know now is that they're going to take this research and the data from watching what happened. A similar thing happened. I ran over to the Siming monkeys, and it was absolutely amazing. They were howling till it went dark, and then it got silent, except all the people started cheering. I want you to hear what we talked. We talked to one family who experienced it with us, and here's what they had to say.
I think they were looking at us, and they were kind of surprised by our reaction. But yeah, we were really surprised that they reacted like that. They were swinging around and howling, and yeah, it was really neat.
What are you going to say?
Of course, it was funny to observe the human species of animals as well and their reaction.
I think that everyone can agree the human species reacted collectively in amazement to this.
Whoa.
Yes, lots of cheers.
It was awe-inspiring. That's a word that's perhaps overused, but it certainly is appropriate for this. And we could not have picked a better spot. I think God's a member of the zoo here because it was absolutely perfect.
I'm going to say amen to that, Joe Pinner. And we've enjoyed being out here with you all live, bringing you this coverage from Riverbank Zoo. We'll send it back to you guys.
Well, we were very fortunate to be sure the clouds, and I think Judy mentioned this, there were a few folks that had a lot of cloud cover today at times, but there was not a lot of rain, and we do have a lot of sunshine this afternoon, and we had a pretty good viewing in downtown Columbia. So there we are on a, can you believe it? It's a Monday, Eclipse Day here in downtown Columbia. So let's check out the forecast as we look west And there's a cold front positioned back in Missouri. If we have some visitors here from Missouri, we appreciate you coming to town. Stay the night. Enjoy the sunshine this afternoon. Not much rain out there. We do have a few showers that have moved in on the coast. That's a sea breeze, but outside of that, not much rain to be found here in the Midlands. Temperatures are warm. We have temperatures ranging from 93 to 92 in Sumter, 93 up in Newberry, 93 in St. Matthews, and then with the sea breeze down on the coast, it's in the middle to upper 80s. So here's your forecast tonight. 75, an isolated early shower as you go south. Tomorrow's high 94, and then 75 for tomorrow night. We have a cold front, guys, in the forecast as we get closer to the weekend. Something to look forward to. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ben. All right, we're going to take you live now, looking through one of our DOT cams there. It looks like we're at I-20. You can see some congestion there with all of the people in the Midlands this weekend and today. Traffic, of course, has been a major concern for officials, and we're keeping an eye on that for you. Our Jack Kenzie continues our live team coverage now. And Jack, what's traffic like where you are? Let us know where you are.
Well, Sam, people have probably around the Midlands had their heads in the sky for the last few hours, but what they're seeing now on the roadways around where we are and other parts of the state will bring them right back down to earth. We're at I-77 near the Killian Road exit. Northbound traffic has been moving at times like it is right now, which seems to be more or less normal. And then you wait a minute or two and all of a sudden everybody is almost stopped dead. And that has been a situation that we've been seeing ever since the end of totality here. In fact, the partial eclipse was still playing out overhead, and we were seeing people who were backing up almost stopped dead here for quite a while. And that is apparently a situation that we've seen in other parts of the state now. We just checked the DOT website, their live traffic cameras, and they have similar forms of congestion that are underway on I-20 heading westbound over towards the Augusta area, out in the Grand Strand up on Highway 17. And I-95 in particular, both north and south, seem to be a virtual parking lot according to the 511sc.org website. But right back here now, again, we're seeing right now northbound I-77 looking pretty good. People moving at almost normal highway speeds, not much going on southbound. But as I just indicated, you know, a couple of minutes go by, we could be back down to almost a standstill here on I-77. That's the story here. Jack Kinsey, WIS News 10.
All right, Jack, thank you for that. And so take the solar eclipse, right? Add some baseball, and you get a packed house at Spirit Communications Park.
This was the scene today as the Columbia Fireflies got ready for their home game and a historic experience in the sky. Dondi Mercer-Plank and Sports Director Rick Henry continuing our live team coverage with fan reaction from the ballpark.
Central Field, I think we have the best seat in the house and have had all afternoon, not only for a baseball game, but also for the Eclipse. And in fact, about 10 minutes ago, the game just ended. The Columbia Fireflies hitting a home run, ending the game 6-5, their win.
You know, today, let's face it, especially until the eclipse passed, baseball, that was pretty much an afterthought.
Yeah.
You know, some people watching the game, but they were putting on their glasses, looking up at the sky.
Yes.
And you know, Dondi, everybody was pretty cool during the partial eclipse, but then as they watched, as it went total, everyone just became giddy, like little kids.
It was, and people cheered, and it was just such a unifying time. Everybody here looking up, and as it got darker, and just a really neat thing to be in the ballpark. And the ballpark's usually loud with cheers and music and the announcer and everything going on, but this was just a moment of more, very subdued, but very awesome.
Yeah, and the fans, they were just so happy to be here for this one incredible moment. Here's what a couple of fans had to say.
It was so cool. I thought it was going to be like completely dark, actually completely dark, but it was actually pretty cool.
What we just witnessed here was once in a lifetime. They say over 90 plus years. I had to pick them up and make sure that I captured it in person, live and direct.
Live and direct. I love it. And so the players, too, kind of felt giddish and like kids lying out there on the diamond.
Yeah, we're going to hear from them later in the show.
That sounds good. Well, we're going to send it back to the desk. It was a great day here at Spirit Communications Park for the Columbia Fireflies. We'll talk to you again during the next half hour. Greg, Sam?
All right. All right, sounds good. Donnie and Rick, thanks so much. History in the making.
Yeah, sure thing.
The Columbia Historic Speedway, by the way, saw no shortage of people for the solar eclipse today.
Yeah, a lot of people are out there, and our Caroline Patricus was there when folks started rolling in for the big moment there.
What an incredible day it was for South Carolina, especially here in Casey, South Carolina. Thousands of people showed up here to the historic Columbia Speedway for the anticipation of a once-in-a-lifetime event. 2 minutes and 41 seconds of a total solar eclipse that many of them will never see again in their lifetime. And just as that moon started to roll over the sun and everything out here started to get dark, people erupted in motion, started clapping. Some started crying, some started screaming with joy. It was a moment some people say they'll never forget.
That was wild. It was definitely worth the trip.
Amazing, totally amazing. I'm glad we were here for it.
That was the most incredible thing ever, really.
And so although the total solar eclipse is over for the state of South Carolina, what an incredible day. The party is not over here at the historic Speedway. The band is about to pick back up, although some people are starting to pack up their belongings and head home. Just an amazing day, one this Speedway and the people who were here will never forget. For now, reporting here at the historic Columbia Speedway, I'm Caroline Patricus for WIS News 10.
All right, Caroline, thank you. And the party is not over, and our total solar eclipse coverage continues tonight with a fun way many people watch the eclipse today on the water. We are live from Lake Murray with the celebrations there. That's coming up. All right, well, the total eclipse, also some breathtaking sights at Lake Murray today. And that is where many boaters decided to drop anchor and watch the incredible solar event.
Our Mike DeSuma caught up with several people on the open water this afternoon. He joins us live with more. And Mike, it certainly must have been impressive out there on the lake.
Indeed, guys, an impressive sight to see, and one that many people said was well worth the wait, really being out here. We were talking about traffic earlier. The traffic right now is many people getting off the lake. Earlier, it was people trying to get onto Lake Murray. There was a lot of last-minute demand for people trying to get a boat to get out there. Many people, of course, had no such luck. Really, they were looking for that panoramic view that we've heard from many people coming into town. We're looking to see, and when you think about it, a lake with a body of water completely around you is a good spot to achieve that. Now, Lake Murray began to take on more and more boats as the early afternoon dragged on. During the 2 o'clock hour, of course, the darkness began to set in, and when totality came, it was nothing short of amazing to see. Crowds cheered as boaters had to switch on their lights, and at that time, people got the slim chance to look up at a blacked out sun.
Well, you know, it's different. It's unique. This is something, like I said, this has never happened. I don't think this will happen again for some time to come. So to be out here on Lake Murray is probably the coolest experience that you can have. And I mean, you just can't beat it.
The excitement was still going strong even after the eclipse was over. The only complaint coming from many people, which I'm sure was the case at many spots around here, is it just felt too short, guys.
All right, thank you, Mike DeSuma. Well, Columbia was near the end of the total solar eclipse path, but Wyoming, of course, was one of the first states to see it. So coming up next on your news at 5, we are going to take you to Casper, Wyoming, where people there got to experience the historic event as well.
And how about that for an eclipse party picture? That looks pretty awesome this afternoon. Hope you had fun. Your forecast as we approach the weekend next. Stay with us.
All right, let's get you a couple of drive times to get started at 5:18. Of course, if you got friends and family trying to get home, it's going to be a long ride for some. If you're coming from the I-20-77 split to I-20 East Clemson Road, going to take you about 13 minutes. That area is coming up in the red. Also, Lake Murray Boulevard to I-126 downtown, that's going to take you about 12 minutes. That area also coming up in the red category, which means stop and go traffic for us. And you can see I-26 westbound at I-20 giving us some traffic trouble in and around that area, as you can imagine at this point of the day, not just with the high volume from folks trying to get home from the eclipse parties, but also with folks trying to get home from work as well. Lots more to talk about. I'll continue to keep you updated through the evening. Ben.
Appreciate it, Vaughn. Yeah, it was a pretty good afternoon. Check out the eclipse. We look at the satellite, the radar. We have a couple of features. Low pressure that's pretty weak sitting off the South Carolina coast. We have also a new low that's moving across Minnesota, and in between It's a stormy afternoon down in the low country, but watch this. I want you to see how the storms, they build up and then boom, they start collapsing. So that's a classic sea breeze. Gets right off the coastline and tries to get toward 95, and then it's done. So a few showers to our south and west. Don't think there are many of those. We will get some debris clouds that will work up across. So some leftover cloud cover that is now beginning to push up across Orangeburg County. Good thing that this happens a little bit later on the day after the eclipse. So the timing again was great. 91 in Winsboro, 90 in Bishopville, and 92 in Sumter. Here's your forecast. That front, the next front, moves in. What's going to happen? Initially, it stalls, but now that's Wednesday into Thursday. It's going to get a secondary push by the weekend, and you're going to notice a major difference in the temperatures come Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Major, major difference going from certainly the 90s down into the 80s for highs, even the middle 80s by Sunday into Monday of next week. There you go, your temperatures tonight, lower to mid 70s. Again, welcome to everybody who is staying the night and headed back tomorrow after the eclipse. Lower to middle 90s on your Tuesday. And there's the 7-day, 95 Wednesday, 92 Thursday, Friday 91, and so the front moves through. Isolated storms, it stalls just to our south, but enough cool air behind it to where we have 89 on Saturday, 86 Sunday, and 85 on Monday. So that's encouraging, guys. We're getting closer to September, football season, college football just a couple of weeks away, less than 2 weeks now for both Clemson and the Gamecocks.
All right, something else to look forward to. Thanks so much, Ben. Well, 95% of the country experienced the Great American Eclipse. At least some got a partial view of the celestial phenomenon.
Yeah, but along a 70-mile wide path from Oregon through South Carolina, millions watched as daylight turned to darkness. And one of the cities along that line was Casper, Wyoming. Jay Gray was there, and he joins us now live with a closer look at the historic day there. Jay.
Yeah, Sam, Greg, what a view that we had here. Look, scientists say this was likely the most viewed, the most studied, the most photographed eclipse ever. Those of us on the ground can also tell you it was one of the most amazing things we've ever seen.
Here we go.
It's a historic event.
I don't even know what I'm going to feel.
I'm happy to be here in the right place at the right time.
I think I'm just going to experience that moment of wow.
A wow that began off the Oregon coast, a blazing start to the morning, the sun taking its place in this cosmic dance.
Oh, this is crazy.
The moon slowly entering from stage right, first a sliver, then a thumbnail inching between the sun and earth until totality.
Man, it's incredible actually to be here like amongst all these people and for everybody to come together to see this. I think it's incredible.
The flare of the sun's corona spilling over the edges of the moon. On the ground, a glowing 360-degree sunset.
It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
The breathtaking scene playing out over and over again. The moon shadow racing along a 70-mile wide path from Oregon through South Carolina.
That was awesome. Never seen anything like that.
Then, about 2.5 minutes later, an explosion of light. And it's over.
And I just wish it could just last forever.
For those who saw it, it will. Jay Gray, NBC News, Casper, Wyoming. Yeah, and back live, it really was a lasting impression for so many people that were here. There were some who cried during totality watching the events unfold. Others who say they've already got in the works their next trip to the next U.S. eclipse, which comes in just 7 years. Sam, Greg, quite a show by the sun and moon here today.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Jay Gray reporting live for us. Thanks so much, Jay.
Yeah, and you know, I know, Greg, you were out there at the museum, and a lot of people had those similar reactions that Jay's talking about.
I know, the reactions were varied, either crying, some high-fiving,
Yeah.
hugging. It really kind of ran the gamut, but it just goes
Yeah.
to show it was enjoyed by all.
Well, we certainly did a lot of high-fiving here in our studio. All right, well, we will be back with much more of our live team coverage coming up after the break. Stay with us.